Have you ever wondered what lenders mean by management experience? When do you need a specific industry experience versus you can use your general management experience when buying a business? Well, what I've done is I actually surveyed a bunch of my lenders and I put this question out there. What do they mean by management experience and when is it applicable? Well, in today's video, we get to go over their answers to the very same question. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am your host, Leo Landaverde, business broker and commercial lender, helping you buy and scale a profitable business. If you are a small business owner looking to increase your wealth or diversify by buying a profitable business, or if you are a W-2 employee sick and tired of the rat race, wanting to become the CEO of your very own business, this is the channel for you. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell and you'll be notified every Thursday when new videos come out. Let's get into it. So we're gonna put everything in the context of three variables. One is the buyer, the other one is the seller, and the other one is the industry. Now, let's talk about the buyer. The buyer is coming into this deal with either this industry-specific experience, like in some cases it's very, very easy, right? You got an formerly an HVAC guy, heating and air conditioning guy who had a business, who sold it, moved into a different state, buying a business in the same industry. Those are slam dunks. Any lender is going to do those, right? Remember, what we're following is the path of less friction, right? We want a frictionless deal. So from a lender's perspective is, what is the easiest way to minimize risk? You got a guy with HVAC buying an HVAC business. You got an electrical contractor buying an electrical contractor business. You got an engineering buying an engineering firm. You got a CPA buying a CPA firm. Those are the easy ones. But to tell you the truth is that there's not one deal that is a slam dunk deal. There is everything, every deal has nuances. Just like every buyer is very unique in their own way, every deal is unique in their own way. So you have a very unique business with a very unique set of circumstances, a unique cash flow being paired up with a very unique buyer. So that's why when you ask lenders the same question about a business and a buyer, they're going to come up with different answers because although there is SBA general guidelines, there's a lot of discretion that lenders use to interpret those guidelines. So this is what makes things a little bit complicated. So when we're talking about the buyer will either come with industry-specific experience. So let's talk about industry experience in general, right? So which industry experience that translates into management experience. So if we're looking at your resume and I am a lender and I'm evaluating you and I'm looking at your management experience, I'm gonna be looking is what industry experience do you have in the management of that industry. So there are the obvious ones. I think most lenders will universally agree that restaurants and car washes are two businesses that need pound for pound industry experience. You must have managed, owned, operated a restaurant, especially a full-service restaurant, if you ever have the chance to take on one. So what if you don't have the management experience and you're a majority shareholder on this new business that you're going to buy? In that case, you need to bring a partner who has direct management experience. Someone in the management team must have the experience to ease the lender's worries about the business. So you got the restaurants, you got the car washes. Now you got the trades. The buyer or someone in the buyer's management team and the electrical, HVAC, general contractors, roofers, painters, anything that touches the home, plumbers, whenever there is a whenever there is a licensing involved, either the buyer has the license, someone in the buyer's team will actually have the license. So that's how we look at it. So right now we're just talking about the buyer. The buyer either comes with the license or somebody in their team comes with the license. Now, then you have the highly specialized businesses. Like the ones that are very, very unique, that you may not need a specialty license, but because the business is so unique that you really want to have direct experience in that industry. It's all about reduction of risk as far as the lender is concerned. Okay, so So we have those three buckets, restaurants and car washes, trades, and highly specialized businesses. And we evaluated the buyer and the buyer's team. Now, what about the seller? Is the seller staying post-close or are they leaving? Now, say you have somebody who, maybe you have a buyer who wants to buy a roofing business. The roofing business, the buyer doesn't have the license, but may have some experience, but they don't have the license, right? And nobody in the buyer's team has the license, but they have some experience. So we can work at it so that the seller will have to stay on for a period of time to satisfy the lender's requirements when what we call a responsible management officer or RMO. So long as an RMO is in place, the deal will go through with the understanding that at some point in the future, the buyer will have to get their own license. So, or it may just be that the SBA regulations that just went into, the new regulations that just went into effect as of August 1st, 2023, that now say that seller doesn't have to fully exit the business. They could sell a majority interest, but they can keep a minority interest in the business. And every lender is interpreting that in whichever way it suits them. So, but in the past, you had to buy 100% of the assets of the business or 100% of the stock, and the seller had to cash out 100%. So the buyer came in with 100% of the purchase and the seller was out the window and they own nothing. Now they have this, it's a little more fluid. You can buy 50, 60, so long as you buy 51 or more, 51, 60, 75, 80, and the seller can stay on. Well, that may suffice as far as the lender, as far as the licensing requirements on either a trade or a highly specialized business. Do you need help with buying a business? I may just have the solution you need with my new program. Please email me at leo@greenlandhq.com and I will send you details. My email address will also be in the description section of this video. Let's work together. So let's talk about some specific examples. So say when it's gonna be a no, right? So say I am in the accounting business, right? I understand accounting and finance. I'm talking about a specific example of my situation, right? So I will not go and try to buy an electrical contracting business if I know nothing about electrical contracting. I may have management and circumstantial management experience on how to run people in P&L, but I don't have the nuances actually how to run an electrical contractor business. But if I like it enough, if I can bring somebody on with me or have the seller stay on to kind of teach me how to do the business, it's possible. There are some backgrounds that the buyer can have where the management experience can be used universally across multiple industries, that the lenders will be satisfied just because of who the buyer is. So for instance, if the buyer is a previous owner of a business, now that doesn't change the requirements of the restaurants and the car washes, right? Or highly specialized business. But say the buyer wants to get into a trade business and lacks the license, but it's a previous business owner, somebody with a CPA, finance and accounting degree, someone with a really strong personal financial statement, i.e. statement of net worth. So the lenders will think this through and say, well, here's someone who wants to buy a business that is not quite in their wheelhouse, but they have a $2 million net worth, $400,000 in the bank, that have been successful at managing other business, know how to run operations, know how to hire and fire personnel, know how to work with vendors, know how to price his business, knows how to be profitable. And it has a long history of profitability by other businesses that they own. It's all circumstantial case. Now, you can argue that someone like that may be a good fit for just about any business with some exceptions. So, speaking of the personal financial statement, this is something I'm going to teach in my new program that is coming out starting next week. If you want more details, email me and I'll tell you. But we're going to dive deep into the personal financial statement form, PFS form, SBA PFS 413. Now, what that form allows it is, this is how the lenders get a quick snapshot of your statement of net worth. Now, do you really need to have $1 million net worth to buy a business? No. Do you really need to own a home to buy a business? No. But what it does, it gives the lender a or the financier a view of how successful you are. Basically, is if your FICO is evidence of your credit worthiness, your net worth is evidence of your success. So if you have $1 million net worth, you can argue that you're more successful than somebody who has a $200,000 net worth. And if somebody who has a $200,000 net worth is more successful than somebody who has zero net worth. So if you take someone with a net worth of $2 million and somebody with a FICO of 720, you can argue that this person is responsible with their credit and he has a good track record of success. So that's important. And while I'm thinking about it, I should tell you that there are some industries, actually quite a bit of industries, where you don't really need specific industry knowledge. So long as you have some reasonable amount of management experience and there's a licensing involved, you may be able to attain that. Examples that come to mind is RV parks, self-storage facilities, where if you demonstrate the net worth, the credit worthiness, and your overall management experience, it's a great business to buy. Also depends on your long-term strategy. So think about that. So here's an example. So here's just some examples of random people. So you have two people with firefighting experience. They never really own a barbecue franchise. Then they want to buy a barbecue franchise, but you know what they've done on the side is they actually competed in barbecue championships and won, and they have their own recipes, but they're actually firefighters full time. Can you argue that someone like that has the experience to actually buy a barbecue franchise? Well, the lender in this case thought so. So let me give you another example. So say, for instance, in general terms, say a CPA trying to buy a general contracting company, it's going to be a rough one, right? Or imagine information technology or IT person trying to buy an oil and gas company. I think you have to, this is according to the lender, you have to look at the experience of the individual and see what they have can translate into the experience needed for that particular business. Maybe the CPA buying a general contracting business has rehabbed 20 properties and used it to dealing with general contractors and buildings. So you've been involved in the industry from the outside, profiting from flipping houses. So you have some knowledge on the general contracting business. That might suffice, right? That may be just enough to get you the business. Maybe an IT person has a lot of experience advising oil and gas companies through their career, right? That may translate into sufficient knowledge. It's hard to compartmentalize the businesses that would require direct industry experience because it can be really gray, an area of gray. So just to recap, you have to look at you. You have to look at the business. You have to look at the seller and the overall industry and anticipate the questions that the lender, first of all, can you take a business with the knowledge that you have and run it profitably? And if the answer is yes, then potentially a lender might agree with you. So management experience, guys, is a gray area. And it's something that I'm going to be diving deeper into, but I want to make sure that you guys have an understanding of what the lenders look at when buying a business. Thank you so much for watching my video. For a limited time, I'm giving away my cash flow calculator workbook, a pretty huge book that actually helps you analyze the cash flow post-debt service on any business you're looking at. Has been downloaded over 2,000 times over the last couple of months alone. So if you want it, it's yours. All you need to do is click on the link below and it's yours to keep as a way of thanking you for watching my videos.